Hello, Cardmarket people.
Ooh, I'm just floating hands.
I never have to pick my clothes anymore.
We should do all our videos in blue screen.
Yeah.
Annika, what are we doing today?
Okay, today, very exciting, we're doing rules question.
Oh,
because
no.
as a new player, it is so confusing sometimes, all these rules in Magic, and we were discussing them in the office as well. So we thought, maybe we test ourselves. Can we judge? And today, it's you to
I'm
be
the one who's
tested.
judging?
Yeah.
Ooh, alright. Once I knew a Magic judge who was also a lawyer and told me that passing the level 2 judge test was about the same difficulty as passing the bar.
For being a judge.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Apparently there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of rules in Magic. So how are we doing this?
I'm placing cards on the table, we do the game action, and then whenever you think something's fishy, not like your shirt, but in the game. Yeah, they came from the ocean. We've just been to the ocean, you might have noticed. And you will go like, I don't think that's how it's happened or that's how it works. Judge!
For those of you at home that started playing after the pandemic, there's a thing that happened very commonly in Magic game stores or Grand Prix or events in general. It's almost a meme, is that whenever someone needs to get the judge's attention, because it's usually one judge for like 100 people, you raise your hand and you call judge really loud. So when you're playing, it's like a passive experience of playing Magic to just hear people call out judge in the background. So I interrupt you, I assume, if I see you do a rules violation and I call for a judge?
I see you understand the game, so let's see if you understand game rules as well.
All right, let's do this. And just before we get into this, we're trying something new here. Once again, when we do try things new, we need your feedback to see if we should continue doing that. So if you did like this, comment. If you didn't, comment as well. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed and you want to see more of this. This is another metric we take to know if we're doing more of these, or just press that like button. That's an easy, direct way and it just costs you the click of a button.
Yep.
Let's get into this.
Whee! So, we do an easy one first.
Great.
So, I have to have 10 floating mana.
You have 10 floating mana?
Yeah, they were just...
Must feel great.
Yeah, I mean, access to mana is always great. I also have to have waste in play and also a Nalia's Presence. So Nalia's Presence is 1 and 1 green, it's an enchantment aura. You can enchant a land. When Nalia's Presence enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted land is every basic land type in addition to its other type.
So for context, so I can understand, you have only one land, you have it, which is a waste. It's enchanted by Nalia's Presence. You magically just have 10 floating mana.
Yes.
Oh, and suspicious, I'd say.
With this mana, I will cast Allied Strategies. So it's a sorcery. It costs 4 and a blue, and it has domain. It says target player draws a card for each basic land types among lands he or she controls. And I am the target player, and I now draw 6 cards out of my library.
Judge! I think I caught you. I think I caught where you're doing this. Sorry for the interruption, but you broke the law. Domain is usually you did for every basic land type you control. Wastes, I did a video about this recently, so I know this. Waste is not a land type. It's a basic land, but does not have a type.
Yes.
It's a waste of a card. It's not. So in this case, I assume because Nalia's Presence, it gives it every basic land type, so it has island, swamp, plains, mountain, forest, but that's 5.
Yes.
So you draw 5 cards.
You're absolutely right. I could not trick you, but as I said, I think that's the easy start. We see how you do for the next rules question.
Okay, let's do this.
You will see an old friend of yours, Carl, I believe. It is a Tarmogoyf.
Reunited at last.
Yeah, it also goes on your side of the field. You have a sorcery. I have a creature in my graveyard. So what is your Tarmogoyf now?
A 2/3.
A 2/3.
That's all.
So in the end of your turn, I decide I really dislike Tarmogoyf.
Oh.
I play a well-known burn spell. It's a lightning bolt. It deals 3 damage to any target, and I'm targeting your Tarmogoyf.
I feel like that's kind of rude.
Say goodbye to your creature, Carl.
Oh wait, you think it dies?
It dies. Put it in the graveyard, please.
Judge,
Yep.
Annika, you're not killing my precious now anytime soon. So you said there's a creature and an enchantment in the graveyard?
Yeah, sorcery.
There's an
Two
instant
other.
now. You're not gonna fool a Tarmo
boy.
Tarmo boy. Yeah, you're not gonna fool a Tarmo boy. If you cast Lightning Bolt, by the time it resolves, it is in the graveyard. There is 3 damage on Tarmogoyf. Yes, but it has 4 toughness now because we added a card type to the graveyard.
True, and because it happens first, Tarmogoyf ceases in the graveyard, goes to 4, and is not killed by it.
Great eyesight.
Yeah. I think we go with a little harder one
Okay,
now.
I'm ready. I feel ready.
I have A Rain of Goron play. It is a black and a red. It's an enchantment that says, if a spell or ability would cause its controller to gain life, that player loses that much life instead. I also have to happen a Child of Night in play. It's 1 and a black, a creature vampire with lifelink. I'm now going to attack.
Me?
I'll attack you, Carl. There's no other opponent on the table right now. You have no blockers. So Child of the Night will deal 2 damage to you and I gain 2 life.
There has to be a trap here because I feel like this is really obvious because you just read it to me. But I would say no, you lose 2 life. So you deal 2 damage to me, and lifelink is that every time you deal damage to a creature or player, you gain that much life. Which at this point you gain 2, and this says if a spell or ability would cause a controller to gain life, the player loses that much life instead. This feels like a trap that I'm eagerly walking into, but I would say that no, you would lose 2 life.
Yeah, you would be right. You would have to call a judge because the wording on this card is a bit tricky because it states if a spell or ability would cause its controller to gain life, and even if lifelink per se is an ability, you just said what lifelink is. It has to deal the damage and then life is gained. So per se, it's not really like from the time it's working, it's not really the ability that triggers this, but the damage.
That's a weird one because lifelink is an ability.
Yeah, it's a really weird one. There's another card. It's this one, you might want to read it.
Tainted Remedy, it's an enchantment. If an opponent would gain life, that player loses that much life instead. So I assume because here it's not calling out abilities, it's just like gain life.
Yeah, just the gain part. Here it would work. So if you want to play any of these cards, maybe you want to go for the Tainted Remedy.
I would say you keep the Rain of Gore at home.
Or you don't know better and just play how you think it would work because the wording is really, really weird. There's another card you like very, very much.
I love this. Big T!
It's a Teferi, but unfortunately, it is mine.
You can't. Annika, the roller coaster of emotions.
But I present to you Questing Beast. It's almost as
that
good
feels pretty
as
good against
Teferi.
Big T.
And also Finn the Fairbanger.
I love this. This is getting weird.
So now we are in your turn.
Okay.
You're going to attack.
And you have a Teferi.
I have a Teferi, but you would like to attack my face because Teferi, you like him so much you would not attack him.
He has 4 loyalty. Well, actually, unfortunately for Teferi, I'm gonna read Questing Beast. You can go get yourself a coffee because this is gonna be, this will be a while. Questing Beast is a 4 mana 4/4. It has Vigilance. It has Death Touch. It also has Haste. Also, Questing Beast can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Also, combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. Pretty good, right? Also, whenever Questing Beast deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target Planeswalker that player controls.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
I also have Finn.
Yeah.
He's fun because he's uncommon commander. It's Finn the Fangbearer. He's a legendary creature, human warrior. He's a 1/3, but he does have Death Touch, like Questing Beast. He does have the ability that whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. For those of you who didn't play during the Phyrexian sets, poison counters, you can put them on a player. When a player gets to 10 poison counters,
they lose the game. I learned that it's much better phrasing than just saying they die.
Yeah, dying is a little harsh. Also, if you lose the game, you can live to play more games that you lose. While if you die,
have more fun, watch more YouTube videos, whatever you want to do with your time, basically.
if you say so. All right, I have a Questing Beast and a Finn, and you have a big Teferi on the board.
And now it's your attack phase.
Love it.
What
I
do you
attack
like?
you with
Sure.
Questing Beast, which remains untapped because of Vigilance, and with Finn, which does tap.
And now I play Teferi's Protection. It's an instant. Until your next turn, your life total can't change, and you gain protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out. And then exile Teferi's Protection. So, what happens now? Nothing. Nothing happens.
Judge, Annika's telling lies to me. So I assume the trap here is Teferi's Protection gives you protection from everything. That entails that damage from everything is prevented. It's easy to miss it because there's a lot of text on Questing Beast. But one line says combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. So because damage cannot be prevented, boink, I hit you in the face. Sorry, Annika. For 5, which would then deal 4 damage to Teferi because of my Questing Beast, and you would get 4 poison counters.
Almost.
Oh, come
Almost
on.
right. So it's true that it says that combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. But on the other side, my card says your life total can't change. So even if you do deal damage and I also get the poison counters, my life total won't change. But about everything else, you're absolutely right.
But you lose the fairy, so that...
Yeah. It's almost time for our last.
Already? Almost?
Yeah.
Annika, time
So
flies
much
when you're
fun,
having
right?
fun.
Okay, here it comes. So, I know about your favorite format in all of Magic history, which is Commander.
Love Commander so much.
This is more or less a Commander thing here. I give you a Commander. Do you want to read it to the audience?
So this is Marchesa the Black Rose. She costs 4 mana, blue, black, red, and a colorless. She's a 3/3. She has Dethrone. I believe that's a commander mechanic. Whenever this creature attacks the player with the most life or tied for the most life, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Other creatures you control have Dethrone. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step.
Okay, you already have a counter on her. We
Ooh,
are
so I
already
already
at that.
attacked you.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
she's a 4/4.
But unfortunately for you, it's now my turn. I have a lot of floating mana because I'm just the girl with the floating mana.
You somehow just start all your turns with a bunch of floating mana. All
Oh,
right.
I would love that magic rule. Annika starts all her turns with 10 floating mana. I play, however, a Fool's Demise and enchant your commander. So it's an enchantment aura. It costs 5 for whatever color and the blue. It says enchant creature. When enchanted creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control. When Fool's Demise is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return Fool's Demise to its owner's hand.
Oh, wow. There's a lot of triggers going on here.
Yes,
Okay.
you are so right. But we are not even finished yet, Carl, because now I don't have any more floating mana. It is your turn, Carl.
Great. I love having turns. I declare attacks.
In response, I will cast my instant. It's Fateful Absence.
Annika, this combat is an adventure.
So even your turn, I get floating mana.
Yeah. Somehow.
It says destroy target creature or planeswalker. Its controller investigates that
you.
they create a colorless clue artifact token with pay 2, sacrifice this artifact, draw a card.
I get a clue. So I assume you're killing my Marchesa because I don't have any more cards in hand.
That's true, and also not on the field, except for the clue, but I can't target that. Also, I don't know if that gives you a clue to this riddle here, because now I'm getting both of the cards.
Oh, that's what you're saying? You're just like, these are both yours now?
These are both mine
So
now.
I assume you're saying that when Marchesa dies, because of the Fool's Demise, enchanted creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control. So you're saying that it'll enter the battlefield under your control,
Right?
and that Fool's Demise will then return to your hand.
That's absolutely what I'm telling you now.
I'll call a judge.
Yeah?
Judge,
Just
Thank
because
you.
of my mean face and all the floating mana.
Annika's confusing me. I think because it's my turn, enchanted creature dies, return it to the battlefield under your control. Both triggers are on the stack, and because I'm the player with priority, mine happens first. So then yours can't happen. So I assume I get Marchesa back, but you do get your Fool's Demise. Am I a fool with the demise?
You are fooled by the demise and also the clue didn't help. So mine says put it to the hand and then also return that card to the battlefield under your control. But yours says at the beginning of the next end step. So even with it on the stack, mine resolves before yours.
Yeah, of
That's why
course.
I would get it.
So you get Marchesa on the board and Fool's Demise goes to your hand.
Almost. That would happen, but you can also prevent it from happening. We
What?
are-
Because it's Commander!
Yes!
Yeah, I can put it in the command zone!
You're totally right. Yeah.
I do that.
You do that. Okay, I get that, and we will see.
And I have a clue token. Can I sack it?
Please feel
I
free
sack
to
my
draw.
clue token.
Yeah. So, Carl, that was the last one.
But we had so much fun.
Yeah, but maybe you can provide us with more fun. Maybe if you liked it, leave us a comment. Tell us if you liked it and what you liked about it.
Oh yeah, and while you're down there,
And-
please, there's a sub button on the way there and there's a like button. It really, actually, we're not kidding. Clicking that button does really help us grow the channel, show our bosses we're doing the right thing.
It also helps you get access to more great content we produce.
Yeah. If you have other fun rules interactions, we're not lawyers. We are not that creative outside of Annika. We need your help. If you would like more of these and you have suggestions, leave them in the comments below. We'll use them next time.
Also, maybe we do this with Toffel and tease the judge, so Pretty
we
please,
need to pull to us.
really, really hard questions. We ask you for really tough ones.
I hope you guys had fun.
Yeah.
It was a blast. We'll see you guys in the next
Thank you.
video.
Bye.